So, good morning, class. This is your teacher, Daddy Course. I remember in our last video we talked about how water acquire hardness and what it actually means for water to be hard. So we saw that water can acquire hardness when they dissolve calcium sulfate in form of gypsum, or they dissolve calcium carbonate whenever they are flowing on soil that contains them. So in this video we'll be talking about types of water. We have categorized water into two based on the nature of compound that brings in the hardness. Remember that calcium ion and magnesium ions are the major ions that causes hardness of water. Now, based on the kind of compound that brings this calcium and magnesium ion into water, and based on the ease at which it is to remove the hardness, this is the basis on which we have categorized hardness of water. And on this basis, there are two forms of hardness. Number one, we have the temporary hardness. Number two, there is a permanent hardness. From that word, you should know that it will be easier to remove temporary hardness than it will be to remove a permanent hardness. And of course, you can remove temporary hardness by ordinary boiling, but it's difficult to remove permanent hardness by that method. Now, what is temporary hardness? What causes it? And how is it removed? Let us see that. What is a temporary hardness? A temporary hardness of water is caused when there is calcium bicarbonate or magnesium bicarbonate inside the water. That is when the calcium ion and the magnesium ion, both of which causes the hardness, are introduced into the water in form of a bicarbonate salt, hydrogen triisocarbonate 4 salt. Then we say that water is temporarily hard. Did you get that? Let me come again. When the compound contains calcium hydrogen triisocarbonate 4 or magnesium hydrogen triisocarbonate 4, then that water is said to be temporarily hard. Now remember that both calcium bicarbonate and Mg bicarbonate, they both contain the two ions that normally cause hardness. But if the two ions are introduced into the water in form of bicarbonate salt, in form of hydrogen triisocarbonate 4 salt, then you call that hardness a temporary hardness, because the hardness can easily be removed by boiling. So a temporary hardness is caused by the presence of calcium hydrogen triisocarbonate 4 or magnesium hydrogen triisocarbonate 4, which can easily be removed by boiling. The question is, how do we remove hardness generally? If I say how do we remove hardness, I am talking about how do we remove the calcium ion and the magnesium ion that causes water to be hard. Those two ions are the ones that did not make water to lather readily with soap. The question is, how are they removed? Either in temporary hardness or in permanent hardness, how do we remove these ions from water? Now, in removing hardness of water or in removing calcium and magnesium ion from water, our main goal is to remove the calcium ion and Mg ion from water. It is already inside the water before, dissolved in the water, but we want to remove it from water. We want to precipitate it away from water. That is, we want it to form a precipitate that will bring it out of water. So any reaction that can make the calcium inside the water to come out as a precipitate, that is as an insoluble salt, then that reaction will be successful in removing the calcium and magnesium ion type of hardness from water. Remember that when something forms a precipitate, it can no longer be an ion inside the water. Precipitate means a solid that is formed from water, from a solution. That is a precipitate. So if we form a precipitate with calcium and magnesium ion, we bring them out, then the water will no longer be hard. As for temporary hardness, we can use physical method to remove it. What is the physical method? By ordinary boiling. If you boil a temporary hard water, you can see now we can remove hardness by boiling. That's the temporary, that's the physical method. Addition of slake lime is a chemical method. We'll get there. Now, when you boil a temporary hard water, this is the equation. We call that equation thermal decomposition. Thermal means heat. Decomposition means you are breaking down. So you want to break down the calcium hydrogen triazocarbonate 4. That's a calcium bicarbonate. In short, you are breaking this down to form this. That's a decomposition. You are breaking one compound down to form more than one compound. That's decomposition. Now, observe that this compound is soluble. This calcium triazocarbonate 4 salt is soluble in water. That is why the calcium inside can be disturbing our soap, can be interacting with our soap, can be reacting with our soap, because the calcium bicarbonate is soluble, can dissolve inside the water. So when it dissolves in the water, the calcium ion are free to interact with soap. So our main goal now is to extract the calcium ion away from the water in form of an insoluble precipitate. So if we remove it out from water as a precipitate, then it will no longer be able to be disturbing our soap whenever we want to wash with soap. So when you boil calcium hydrogen triazocarbonate, it's going to give you calcium carbonate, which is a calcium triazocarbonate 4, water, and CO2. Look at this product. This first product, that is calcium triazocarbonate 4, you see that our calcium is already inside. And do you know why the hardness removed? This calcium triazocarbonate 4 is insoluble. It doesn't dissolve in water. Is insoluble, does not dissolve in water. So when you heat it, you are going to see a whitish precipitate of calcium carbonate. Remember, it's a precipitate already. It has been discharged, it has been removed from the water in form of insoluble calcium carbonate. So you can just filter it away, and then your water will be clean. Even if you don't filter it away, it can no longer interact with your soap again, because it's no longer dissolved inside that water. You have removed it as an insoluble precipitate. So that is why the method used for removing hardness is the one that will convert the calcium ion to an insoluble precipitate. And for temporary hardness, boiling gives us that particular advantage very, very well, and it's easier to boil water. So that is why if you don't have access to much water and you want to wash clothes, and the cloth is hard and the water is hard, rather, you can boil the water. Any hardness that is caused by temporary hardness, that is caused by calcium bicarbonate or magnesium bicarbonate, will be removed by boiling. So this is the reason why you can remove temporary hardness by boiling. Remember, this equation is very, very important. This thermal decomposition of calcium bicarbonate. Remember that you can be asked in WAEC or even in your exam in school to write equation for removal of temporary hardness by boiling. You can be asked. In fact, it has been asked before. So this is what we are going to write down. That's calcium bicarbonate, boil. If you like, put heat. Anyone will give you calcium carbonate, that's insoluble salt that precipitated out our calcium, the troubler of our soap. So calcium carbonate plus water plus CO2, and that equation is 2 marks in any question they ask you in WAEC. So pay close attention to that. That is how to remove temporary hardness by boiling. Now, the second method of removing temporary hardness is by the addition of calculated amount of slaked lime. Of course, you know what slaked lime is. Slaked lime is calcium hydroxide. You have seen the slaked lime. It's calcium hydroxide. Now, you add it to the temporarily add water in a calculated amount. Why do we say in a calculated amount? If you add it too much, you will cause more hardness, because this calcium hydroxide too, that's slaked lime, is also soluble in water a little bit. So, but if you add it in a calculated amount into the temporary add water, it can react with that calcium hydrogen trisulcarbonate 4, and it will precipitate it out as insoluble calcium carbonate. Can you see? Insoluble. This is what causes the hardness. It's hard because it is soluble. When you add calcium hydroxide, then it's going to give you a compound that is insoluble, calcium trisulcarbonate 4, this compound. So this is how you remove the compound. You remove the hardness as an insoluble precipitate. So in both cases, either you boil it or you add calcium hydroxide, you're actually removing the calcium ion in form of a precipitate. So you'll be seeing whitish. That's why sometimes when you boil with kettle too much, you see the inside of kettle is white. It's because some temporary hardness inside is getting decomposed into calcium carbonate. So this is what is called remover of temporary hardness. You are removing the calcium ion in form of an insoluble compound. Now, what are the effects of temporary hardness? What are the effects of temporary hardness? The number one and the most common effect of temporary hardness is fouring of kettle and blockage of pipes. Fouring of kettles, when you use boiler and kettle to boil water for a long time, you will observe that the inside of the kettle, or if you like, the around of the boiler, will be having some whitish substance. We call those whitish substance fur, F-U-R. Some people call it fair. It's fair. But assuming I'm a Nigerian, I will call it fur, F-U-R. So it's called fur. So when you use kettle to boil water that is hard for a long time, then you are going to observe fur inside that particular kettle. Let me see. Can you see this particular kettle? Now, see this kettle now. See this boiler now. You will see that this boiler has been used to boil hard water. You can see all these whitish whatever, all these whitish things around the kettle. They are called fur, FUR, furring of kettles and boiler. This boiler now has been furred because it has been used to boil temporary hard water for a long time. So deposit of calcium carbonate, that thing that will be formed, that insoluble salt that was formed to remove the salt, to remove the hardness, that insoluble salt is what is called fur, and you will see it around the boiler or the kettle. So this is a fur now. So it causes furring of kettle, and the disadvantage of furring a kettle is this: the kettle will reduce in terms of conductivity. The time it takes to boil water will increase because it will not be able to conduct heat very well again because of those fur that has surrounded the boiler or that has deposited inside of the kettle. So it causes furring of kettles. Apart from that, it causes blockage of pipe. Look at this water pipe that water corporation people actually use to pump water. So it appears there's only one thing you can judge from this type of water they are pumping, and is that water is a temporary hard water. Now let me tell you how this fur actually appears, how this blockage appears. If this water is temporarily hard now and the water is passing through the pipe, anytime the pipe is hot, the calcium bicarbonate inside the water will decompose according to this equation. Can you see? So this is actually the fur. This is what is whitish inside that pipe, calcium carbonate. The hardness has been removed. So this is the fur that causes furring of kettle and blockage of pipe. So whenever the water is hard and the pipe is hot, the calcium carbonate will get decomposed and you'll be forming this kind of thing. So as long as you keep passing hard water into the pipe, a time will come that the pipe will eventually block and water will not be able to pass through again. So these are the effects of temporary hardness. They cause blockage of pipe and they cause furring of kettle. Apart from this, my brothers and sisters in the Lord, apart from this, temporary hard water can cause something we call stalagmites and stalactites. Can you see? It causes stalagmites and stalactites. These are the effects of temporary hardness: stalagmite and stalactite. What do we mean by stalagmite? Stalagmite and stalactites actually occurs in cave. You find cave in the desert, very hot cave. Like cave is like a building. It's not really a building actually. Just like you are walking past in a place and you see an abandoned building or you see an empty hole inside the desert. It's called a cave. Now this cave normally have roof. That is, it's normally covered, so it looks like house normally, or an abandoned place like that. It normally have roof. So it is inside this cave you find stalagmites and stalactites. Now, how do stalagmites and stalactites form inside the cave? This is what I mean by a cave. This is what is called A cave. Okay. So, this is what is called a cave. Can you see a cave now? This is a cave. Can you see? You find it in the desert. This is a cave. Can you see it? This is a cave. And this is also a cave. Now, you see, this cave has a floor. You can see all these places. You can see all the roof. This is the roof. This is the roof of the cave. This is the floor of the cave. Is that okay? The roof is on top, the floor is down. Let me show you this one also. This is the roof of the cave. Yeah. This is the floor of the cave. This is the roof of the cave. This is the floor of the cave. So, what happened is this. When water passes through the roof of the cave, and that water is hard, and the top of the cave is actually hot, the hardness, which is calcium bicarbonate, will that heat from the top of the cave will decompose the calcium bicarbonate into calcium carbonate. Like the equation, everything we are discussing is just the composition of this calcium bicarbonate. This calcium bicarbonate. No, it's not this reaction actually. This is the reaction. So this calcium bicarbonate get decomposed into calcium carbonate, water, and CO2. So if a water containing hardness, temporary hardness now, is moving on top of a roof, that water will contain this. That water will contain this compound, calcium bicarbonate. We have this compound. Now, so when the roof is hot, so the calcium carbonate will get decomposed. The calcium bicarbonate rather will get decomposed and form calcium carbonate. This calcium hydrogen carbonate will form calcium carbonate, which is an insoluble compound, is a strong solid. So that cave looks like a leaking roof, a roof that is leaking rather. So when the water is passing through, the water can enter inside that cave and decompose inside the cave. The calcium bicarbonate there will decompose inside the cave and form calcium carbonate, which is limestone. So what you are seeing here, they are the pillars of limestones. All these things, they are pillars of limestones. They are pillars of limestone. So all these things that is growing up or down, they are actually limestone. They are the calcium carbonate that is growing up or down. Now, the one that is growing, that pillar of limestone that is growing down from the roof of the cave, is what is called stalactite. The pillar of limestone, all this one that is up here, this pillar of limestone that is coming from up to down, you call them stalactite. You can see is stalactite. While the one that is growing from the floor to the roof, that is called stalagmite. So stalactite is actually the one growing from the roof downward, while stalactite is the one going from the floor upward. Stalagmite grows from the floor upward, while stalactite grows from the roof downward. Now, there's a mnemonic I used to remember. If I must tell you, stalactite contains the word act, right? And what does gravity do? Gravity acts down. So stalactite grows down from the roof. That's act. Stalactite grows down from the roof. So that's how I normally used to remember stalactite from stalagmite. But look at stalagmite. Stalagmite contains the word age, like age. What does age do? Does age grows down or grow up? When you are aging, what happen? You are growing up. Your age is increasing. So stalagmite are the one that is growing up from the floor of the roof, from the floor of the cave to the roof of the cave. So stalagmite are the pillars of limestone that is growing down from the floor of the cave to the roof of the cave. So don't forget that. Why the stalactite is the one that is coming from the roof of the cave and is growing downward to the floor. That's stalactite. Acting down. Aging up. So stalagmite will go up. Stalactite will act down. Is that okay? Stalagmite age up. Stalactite act down. You can easily remember that. Don't forget. So stalagmite and stalactite, they are actually effects of temporary hardness that occurs inside the cave in a desert where it is very, very hot. When water is passing through the roof of that cave, the roof is actually leaking. So water will enter inside because the cave is hot. Temporary hardness there will get decomposed into limestone. So some limestone can be coming from up the roof down. That's stalactite. Why another one? The water must already enter the cave. So the limestone will now be growing from the floor upward. That is called stalagmite. So in some cases, the one growing from the roof might meet the one that is coming from the floor. Like here now, this and this can meet together, this and this can meet together and form a very big pillar inside that cave. You would think someone built the pillar there, something like this. Look at this pillar. Look at this pillar. It's actually from the one that is growing up and the one that is growing down. Look at this pillar also. You would think that somebody actually built it, but it's not like that. It's actually the fact that the stalagmite was growing up and it melted with the stalactite that was coming down. So it's going to form a very big pillar in that particular sense. So that is effect of temporary hardness. That's the second effect of temporary hardness. Number one is that it causes falling of kettles. Don't forget, the first effect is that it causes falling of kettles and blockage of pipe. Number two is that it causes stalagmite and stalactite inside a cave. Inside a cave. So these are the effects of temporary hardness. So we're going to stop here, and in our next video we'll consider what is meant by permanent hardness. So we have been able to see that temporary hardness is caused when there is calcium hydrogen triisocarbonate 4 or magnesium hydrogen triisocarbonate 4 inside water. Furthermore, we have seen that we can remove temporary hardness either by boiling or by addition of calculated amount of slake lime. In both cases, the calcium hydrogen triisocarbonate 4 is converted to calcium carbonate. Don't forget that. In both cases, like in this case now, this is converted to calcium carbonate. This is converted to calcium carbonate, an insoluble compound. And when we added slake lime also, this is also converted to calcium carbonate. So that's how we remove temporary hardness. I'm talking about the effect of temporary hardness in this video. We said that temporary hardness leads to falling of kettles and blockage of pipe. You've seen that before. This is how a kettle falling of kettles and boiler, then blockage of pipe. They also say that it also causes stalagmite and stalactites. So in our next video, we'll be talking about the permanent hardness. God bless you. Real good. Thank you.